Brazil is now looking to raise before the World Trade Organization its trade concerns against the Philippines for its failure to lift the ban on poultry imports. In its letter to the Foreign Affairs Department, the Embassy of Brazil noted that only the Philippines banned Brazilian products due to the pandemic. They said the move lacked scientific basis, which defies some provisions of the WTO agreement. Brazil added that clarification sent to the Philippines should be enough to lift the ban. Earlier this year, the Agriculture Department halted poultry imports from Brazil after samples of their chicken wings shipped to China tested positive for COVID-19. Just last month, the DA lifted the ban on mechanically deboned meat imports from Brazil, subject to additional requirements. Instead of a blanket ban, the Meat Importers and Traders Association advised the DA to ban specific meat processing plants in Brazil that have COVID infection. They warned that an escalation of the issue might affect other imports from the country like beef. Traders currently source chicken meat from other countries at higher prices.
If they are not allowed to raise the prices of their products in the supermarkets or retail, then they will have to absorb the increased cost. Some probably can do that. Some maybe not be in a good position to absorb those costs. But eventually, somewhere along the way, somewhere in the future, prices will have to go up.
The DA has yet to totally lift the ban as it awaits a report on the rate of COVID infection in meat sources. It welcomes the challenge from Brazil, but says their focus now is finishing this week's investigation on higher pork prices. Pork in wet markets now go as high as 360 pesos a kilo. The DA says traders could be holding off supply to artificially jack up prices.
Corresponding charges will be filed. There is tightness in the supply, but there is enough pork inventory yet to handle the supply.
The Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG doubts there is a cartel, saying supply in Luzon is tight due to the African swine fever. They want the DA to bring in more supply from Visayas and Mindanao. But the DA is now eyeing to suspend transport carriers from between the islands to curb the spread of ASF. For SINAG, this could worsen the problem, even pushing prices to 450 pesos a kilo.
Nag-subsidize ba sila ng presyo para mag-ship dito sa Luzon? Pagdating dito, dapat mabilis ship out. Ibig sabihin, walang abala na nangyayari.
SINAG says the non-implementation of the Quarantine First policy may also be behind the spread of ASF. Under the Food Safety Act, the DA and the DOH are mandated to examine all imported food at inspection facilities. 2 billion pesos was allocated for its construction, but none has been set up in the past 7 years, says SINAG. The group threatens to file charges against the DA if it fails to implement the policy in the next 30 days. The DA says it is still waiting for the Philippine Ports Authority to approve the memorandum of agreement that would start the construction of the facility. Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.